Good afternoon, Flosstube. It's Lori of MischievousStitches. I want to welcome all of you to my channel today. I'm very glad that you stopped by to visit with me. I have several things to share today. I have a class finish, a little bit of haul, and some prior finishes that I'd like to share. So let's get started. So those of you that visited with me last week, I did state that I would be attending a class with Kathy of Hands-On Design, as well as Mr. HOD. And it was hosted by Barefoot Needlearts in Surfside Beach, South Carolina. The class ran for a little over half the day, and I had an amazing time. There were around 50 ladies in attendance. We had homework, so all the stitching of the piece was to be completed prior to the class. And so when we arrived, everyone had one of these envelopes with a sticker of the completed project and all the supplies for finishing it inside. It took a few hours, but Kathy is an amazing teacher, just like I assumed she would be from watching her videos here on Flosstube. And here is my completed piece of Toes in the Sand. It's my understanding from some information that I saw posted by Barefoot Needlearts earlier this week that Kathy plans on releasing this around this time next year, so around a year. But this is Toes in the Sand. And if you've been watching me for a while, you've probably seen me working on my homework because I know that I shared it here. And we finished it in the round. Now, Kathy has several designs that she's been completing recently that are in the round. So this piece is the same size as that. I think it's a little less than 5 inches. It's 4 inches and some change, circular. And I haven't checked, but she assured us that we could buy the circular cut mat boards on her website, which I will be looking into in the next couple of days. The button here, which was, it's a pin, I think it's one of the Mill Hill Decorator pins, was gifted to the class attendees by Barefoot Needlearts. And all the supplies to finish it up, of course, like I said, was provided by Kathy, and they were in the kit. So we learned how to do the running stitch to cinch it up around the mat board, how to piece them together with a running stitch. She had the cording made up for us ahead of time. She went into a little bit of detail about making the cording, but she said that was a class all into itself. So at the end of the class, we were given honorary degrees for finishing in the round, and I had the opportunity, since Kathy had a trunk show there at the shop, to pick up another round piece that I hope to stitch and finish this year, as well as we were gifted one to take home with us. So this is the piece, and I absolutely love it. The only thing I'm going to change about it is I often now get charms with the year on them. I want to add a 2024 charm somewhere around this ribbon, maybe on the back so it hangs down maybe from the knot there. But I just love how this nice and tidy this looks, how easy it was. So I just want to give a shout out to Kathy and Mr. HOD. Had a wonderful time, would not hesitate to take a class from them again. If you ever get the opportunity, you should definitely take a class from her. Just amazing time. She's funny, she's very helpful, she's kind and patient, just everything you'd want from a teacher. And I did not hear not one single negative comment from any of the class attendees because we just had a great time. If you want to see a picture of all those that attended, Barefoot Needlearts did, or was it Kathy? It was Kathy. Kathy posted a picture, a group picture of the class attendees on her Instagram account, and I'll try to link that below. So there's that. And you would think, because I was away for a few days with a stitching class, that I would get more work done on my current piece, and I haven't. I was hoping to get my shop model finished and completed and turned in while I was there, and I didn't because I spent each morning on the phone with work. If I was wealthy, I would have retired by now, but I'm not. I have to work for a living, but others don't feel the need to come to work. So the mornings were not always, even the morning of the class, I think I was on the phone with work until about 5 minutes till time for class to start. Just very stressful, irritating. I think if I ever did maybe early retire from my job, never ever would I want to be in charge of grown children ever again. It's like herding cats, no responsibility taken. Never again would I want to be in charge of adults, ever, ever. With that being said, maybe that was a little much for a Flosstube, wasn't it? I only got a few, and when I say a few, maybe 2 threads of black at the most, and a thread, and I kind of was working to outline the cup that will say gorgeous inside. So this is Gorgeous by the Artsy Housewife. It is 2 strands over 2 linen threads on 36 count, a mystery fabric, and I think it's absolutely stunning. It really will not take but maybe 2 days if I get a chance to stitch. So my plans is to make myself go upstairs and stitch for about an hour as soon as I'm done with this video and it's uploading, because I've got a lot of house chores to do. I've got a friend coming at the end of the week. Hi, friend. And I'm so looking forward to having the friend come and stay a few days and just enjoy each other's company. So the friend watches my Flosstube, and I hope that they see that, but I want to make sure everything's perfect as we do when we have company coming. So there's some things I need to catch up on, some things I want to tidy up, and just looking forward to it. I hope work cooperates with me this week. I don't have a lot of faith in that, but I'll put some prayers behind it. So that's that, and that's all I stitched on and worked on this week. So my finished piece from Kathy of Hands On Design and my shop model. I did pick up a couple of things while I was there, and one of them, it seemed like, I think I've closed my last video with, it seems like the theme of last week was parrots. So going to the shop, and one of the things I'm going to be starting soon is Pretty in Pink by Crosswing Collection, and it's an older design, and I have yet to start it, but I picked up this bag with both parrots and flamingos on it. It is a Barefoot Needlearts project bag, and look at that zipper pull. Just love it. Absolutely love it. So she's going to be nested in here. I think Memory from Barefoot Needlearts is also stitching on this one, and she's way far ahead of me. And it's just a gorgeous piece, and I think she named hers Dottie. So I guess I need to name mine too, and that will be decided in the future, not at the moment. So I bought this bag, and then I got a piece of fabric, and I can't show you the pattern picture because it's an Etsy pattern, so it's not like from a designer. And I picked up this piece of fabric, and it is Rogue Fabrics, and this is Morning Mint. Oh, it smells good. You can't tell it there. Let me fold it back up. Sometimes you can tell when it's folded. It is a very light minty color, so a light green, and it's not coming through at all. And the subject of that piece also is flamingos. So I will share with you the colors. And it was a very inexpensive chart, and I do love to get on Etsy, and I love that some of the charts are, you know, very economical. But I always wonder if I don't know, if it's not from a designer, if they are just copies from something else. I did try to Google and make sure, and I didn't see it come up anywhere else. But I always wonder that in the back of my mind after so many comments I read from others of you on Flosstube that you find out later on. But I do plan on stitching this one, and as I said, the subject is flamingos, and there are the colors. So I'm thinking they will look really good because I think the fabric that was called for was just a white. And this one is, like I said, a very, very light mint that I thought would pick up the greens and the ice blues really well. I wish you could see it as well as I can here at home because the light's really hitting it and bleaching it out. But that will be a future start. And I did have that ready to take with me just to get the fabric for when I went up there. So the threads and the fabric was ready. And then I did have a tiny bit of work. I told a fib. I did work on one other piece because I did put another thread or two in American Blue. And this piece is by October House. I always worry I'm gonna say it wrong. Yeah, Fiber Arts. I always say Needle Arts and it's Fiber Arts. So October House Fiber Arts. And I started it with DMC 931, which a lot of you give me good compliments on that it looks really well. But I had also picked up one of the variegated DMCs because I have often used the variegated red. I've stitched samplers with it, the monochrome red samplers. Loved it, and I thought, well, let me go out and see how that would look. And it's much darker, but I worry when I stitch with the lighter colored part of that thread, how I would like it. And I also don't want to fussy cut it. But it was just a thought. Maybe one of you will drop out and start with that, and I guess I need to go back, so I didn't park my needle. Let me park that. Actually, I've lost it. It's probably stuck in this thread. No, it's down here. So that's what I got done. So I think I've got 2 threads in it now. I started it with, of course, the first with my friend Karen when she was visiting, and the second one out. And I have this one, and I'm stitching it on a raw natural 32 count linen with 1 strand over 2 linen threads, or is it 36? Let me look. I did have the remnant of the fabric here somewhere. It's either 32 or 36, but I'm stitching 1, so I'm thinking it's 36. That's what's got me going back and forth. I try to keep up with what I'm stitching on, how many threads, because a lot of you will ask, and sometimes I get it wrong because my memory. And then I want to share with you what I picked up. So Kathy of Hands On Design had a trunk show there. So I went ahead and took the opportunity to pick up a couple of her designs, and I picked up Pure Noel. I think this one come out last year. And I want to say it was a class piece at some point, but this, is it Pierre or Pear? But I'm just going to say it's Noel. So cute, and of course I got to see the little finish. And because I learned how I got a degree, you know, an honorary degree in round piece finishing, I picked up this amazing bee, and this is Botanical Bee. It's the same size as this one, and it actually almost exactly the correct size on the outside of the packaging. How often does that happen? It's pretty amazing. So hopefully I'll be working on this one soon. I've seen lots of you stitch it on Instagram. It is so pretty. The fabric is just amazing, and I got to see Kathy's finish, so that was pretty awesome. Then what else did I get? This is More Beach, and it says Less Mondays and More Beach, but it has 2 designs. So the second one says, come to the beach where the sea is blue and little white waves come running at you. This one was on display as well with the trunk show. Look at those seagulls, beach cottages, so cute. And then Stitching by the Sea. And I don't know what she calls this finish, but it's a little pincushion. So you're stitching this part. It's similar to the squares that she has now, but there's a square in the center, and then it's like a little basket there, but it's beach themed. And the finish was there, and it was so cute. So those are the ones I got. And then there's another designer that was there, brand new designer in the shop, and she's a local lady, and I think there were 5 designs there, and I picked up 2 of them. And the name of the designer is A Gardener's Needle, and this is a bumblebee. That's the first one, or the first one that I got. And the second one is Liberty. And it's my understanding that these pieces are exclusive to Barefoot Needlearts. I did put a few pictures on my Instagram for those of you that may want to see it, of the 5 different designs. One is called, was it 24 Blackbirds or something Blackbirds? And that's what it was. It was that number of blackbirds and a cute little design. And I think one of them was golden. And there was another that was a bird on a basket eating berries. And there was a 5th. I don't remember what the 5th one was, the subject matter. But you can look on my Instagram, or you can go to Barefoot Needlearts website. I'm sure that they have them posted there. And again, the designer is A Gardener's Needle. So because I didn't have a lot of stitching to share, I decided to pull out a few of my prior Patriotic pieces, since this past Friday was Flag Day. So first one I'm going to share with you, and I have a few more of these, and they're finished on skewers for grilling, and they're little patriotic patchwork flags. And I got the supplies one day and invited some friends over last summer, and they came over and we made these little flags, and everybody brought over some scrap fabric. And we just plugged in the sewing machine and pieced them together. I particularly love this one with the baseballs, and it's so cute. So I have them all upstairs. Maybe some of them have done a little peekaboo when I film, because they're inside of a little wicker basket on my table beside my stitch spot. So again, these are, I think I got them off of Easy Peasy Patchwork. It was an Instagram post, and I followed it, and it shared with me how to do this. Great thing to do with a few friends over. You can put them in a wreath, you can put them in a flower arrangement just throughout the house. Just so quick and easy to do, and great to do with a group of friends. And then this is a recent one. This is just a kit from Hobby Lobby I stitched up last month. And I still haven't put the felt on the back of it to finish it up. Plan to do that with some double-sided tape and a little bit of felt. There's that. And then I have this one, and this is a heart and hand, I believe. And it's a piece that I finished up a few years ago into a little book, and I did sew down to make a spine. I have some felt pages inside. I have my son's ROTC ribbons and name tag, some jute twine with some little wooden spools that I stained. And I pick up, when I'm out junking a lot of times, I'll pick up military buttons, or I was at that time. I haven't picked up any recently, but I will pick them up and put in here. Recently, I had a lanyard that had U.S. Air Force on it that was given to us when Jacob entered the Air Force, and there was a snap-on connection where you could put a name badge or what have you in it, and I lost it. So I'm gonna take that lanyard that has U.S. Air Force all over it and incorporate it into this as well. And anytime I come up with something like that, I add it. But you can see I did this in 2020, so 4 years ago. Just some patriotic colored felt. It's one of my favorite finishes. Some of the bulb pins. That was, I believe, my husband's NJROTC days. That was from his. And just little odds and ends. My stepfather worked for the post office, and that's one of his patches from his shirt, and of course mine from my shirt. and some of Jacob's old ribbons and his name badge. So I really, really like this. It was done with some gingham, as you can see, and just, I'm sorry, homespun, not gingham, homespun. Just a cool little finish. I really love it. So glad I did it. And then this one is Forever in Peace, May You Wave. And this is from Sweet Wing Studio from last year. I stitched this one and I ordered this little frame off of Amazon. I believe it's an 8x8 frame. Fit in it perfectly. And this hangs up in my, this is in my husband's office. And I did get a pack of these on Amazon last year. I think there were maybe 8 of them. Because a lot of times an 8x8 design, a square design will fit in these, and I've used them several times before. The place I used to buy them from was Hobby Lobby, and they no longer carry them. So these are a little, the framing itself is a little bit smaller than the ones I used to purchase from Hobby Lobby, but these were a good substitute. But the glass is plexiglass and it's not plastic. I mean, it's plexiglass and not glass. And then there's one other that I have in my husband's office, and this one was an Erica Michaels piece, and this is God Bless America. And I think that one turned out so pretty. I stitched it with my friends Natasha and Mary, who I often sew with. And I think Mary took the inside of the motifs down here and used the red to incorporate it a little further into the design, and I think it's beautiful that she did that. It turned out so good. So this one's in my husband's office as well. And then I think this one's an old Heart and Hand too. This is Stars and Stripes Forever. Some of you may have saw some of these because I've stitched them since I was I've been doing Flosstube. But that one's a great one. This one I stitched last year, and this is American Sampler. This was by Calico Confectionery. You can find this one in her Etsy shop. It just is absolute, I love it. I do love it. I need to get this one framed. So I think it's only 4 colors, the red, the blue, and the brown, the 2 different color browns, but I think it's amazing. So cool. And this is another Heart and Hand. This is She's a Grand Old Flag, was just a quick stitch. I may make it into a square finished ornament type piece, or incorporate it. I thought about cutting it down and somehow incorporating it into the book on one of the open pages like this one. May do that still. So many plans and so little time. And then I have one other, and this is an Erica Michaels as well. This is one, and I'm sorry I did not iron it before I brought it out to share with you. I've shared it before on Flosstube. It's a stitch that I finished before I started Flosstube, and it's been in my under the bed container. And it's a quote from Abraham Lincoln's second inaugural address. I think it's beautiful. I wish people talked like this now, but we don't. And I'm gonna read it and then I'll share with you the piece because it's all wording, and it says, "With malice towards none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations." I'm getting emotional. With all that's going on now. So I apologize for the crease down the middle, but this is a beautiful piece. I believe it's stitched on 32 count. It was stitched with silks, the call for silks. When I last shared it, there was a lot of questions about it reached out to Erica Michaels and she actually re-released it. It was not in print at the time. And so I believe, as far as I know, it is still for sale. I think it's a gorgeous piece. Maybe I need to frame it just so I can read and remind myself of the words, myself of the words. With all that being said, I hope everyone had a wonderful Flag Day, that you remember the reason behind the colors and of the stars and the stripes, just the meaning of what's behind it. For not this country, but for your own, because I know that there's others that watch. I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, that you enjoy it and get to soak up a little warmth from the sun. And until next time, hugs and stitches. Bye-bye.